Greetings, kids. This is a video that you're going to be able to use to refer to when you are computing stats for psychology. This video will address how to enter data into your calculator, how to sort data on your calculator, and how to compute basic stats on your calculator. So let's begin with entering data into your calculator. Our favorite button on the calculator is going to be the stat button here, okay? So we're going to go to stat, and then enter on edit. So stat, enter. And we would like to enter data into one of our lists, doesn't matter. We'll just put it in list 1. And so in order to clear a list, you put the cursor on L1, you hit clear, and then you hit enter. So now that we've cleared the list, we can enter our data in. Enter 2, 1, 4, 3, 8, 4. And what I'm going to do when I get to the end of my list, I'm going to make sure that I have as many pieces of data in my list. See, it says L118, and that's the blank here, so that means that this is the 17th piece of data. And let's just count my pieces of data. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, great. So my data, the number of pieces of data that I put in, matches the number of pieces of data that I have. So we've just entered data into the calculator. So that's fantastic. And we can move to the next page, which is sorting data. And sorting data allows us to find the mode because we can look at it all and figure out which one is occurring most regularly. So in order to sort our data, we go to the stat button. Again, remember how I said it was our best friend. And then we go down to sort A. And we hit enter, and it basically, right here in this parenthesis, it wants us to put which list our data is in. So we could have put our data in any one of our lists. We happen to have put it in list 1. So notice that here is L1, and it's a second function button. So second L1, and then I can hit enter, and it'll sort that data. And it just says done. But if I go to stat and then edit, you'll see now this data has been sorted. Okay? And this will allow us to find the mode. So 0 occurs 3 times, 1 occurs 4 times, so 1 is in the lead now. 2 occurs 3 times. 3 also occurs 4 times. Alright, so 1 and 3 are our modes, because they each occurred 4 times. Excellent. Okay, so now computing basic stats in the calculator. This is also very straightforward. We're going to go back to our stat button, and instead of going to edit, now we're going to go to calc. And this gives us all of these options here. And I really just want the first option. I want one of our stats. So I have L1 because that's where my data is. If I had put my data in another one of those lists, I would just enter in one of the other lists. I don't have to do anything with that, and then I just go down to calculate. I calculate, and it gives me a whole bunch of stuff here. Alright, so I'm going to drag this out and highlight a couple things for you. Okay, that's one screen, and it's really cool See how there's an arrow here? That suggests that there's another screen. So I'm going to go down there and drag out the other screen. Come on, let's go. There it is. Okay, you can see that there's replication here. SX, weird symbol, X, N equals min Q1. So it's giving us a lot of stuff here, but it doesn't quite give us everything. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have here. I'm going to get a highlighter. Okay. So here's what we're interested in. We're interested in this number here. We're interested in this number here. And we're interested in these numbers here. Okay? And so I'll tell you what those numbers mean. Okay. This number here is our mean. This number here is our standard deviation. The SX, not the fancy symbol X. This is population standard deviation. This is sample standard deviation. And we're pretty much always going to be talking about samples. Now down here is our 5-number summary. This is what we used for our box and whisker plot. Okay. This is the tip of our whisker. That's the left-hand side of our box. That's the belt of our box. That's the right-hand side of the box, and that is the tip of the right-hand whisker. There. Okay. This right here is the median. Okay. So in our data set, you can see that our mean is 2.2, our median is 2, and our mode, remember, was 1 and 4. So the mode's not that helpful here. Notice that our mean and our median are very close to each other. So that's a good sign. Our standard deviation is about 2, which means that every value is on average 2 away from the mean. So it's a reasonably consistent data set, but not terribly, and I think that's probably because our high was 8, which is probably not technically an outlier, but it's pretty high in comparison with the rest of the data. Okay, so the only other thing that you might want to know is the range, and the range is found by subtracting the maximum score from the minimum score. Max minus min equals 8. Okay, so our range is going to be 8. So right now we have all the measures of central tendency and variation that I require you to be able to find. And that's all. And you can watch this video as many times as you need while you're calculating data to try to figure out what you're supposed to do if you forget.